Welcome to another product knowledge video. This presentation today is about special event liability insurance, something that everybody's heard of, but not too many people know all the details. Let me tell you who is the presenter today. We went above and beyond here, and we got Sean Curtin, who is the president of Tokyo Marine HCC. That's the specialty group. That's the one we're working with. That's the one who has this category, and he's actually the president of the organization. He's been in the business for a long time. He was an agent for a while early on. He's been in the specialty side of business for over 25 years. So he kind of knows what he's talking about here. So Sean, with that, just a short introduction, will you tell us what this is all about?
Sure. Thank you very much. Well, special event liability insurance is one of those coverages that not everyone knows a lot about, but it is general liability insurance. So for us, the basic coverage is third-party personal injury or property damage arising from an event. We provide this coverage either on a short-term basis or an annual basis. And our typical buyers include event organizers and promoters, meeting planners or event planners, and we also provide coverage for exhibitors and vendors.
Let me ask you something. That's okay. Leave it right. That's fine. Well, why is how much of your business, if I may ask, is like annualized compared to special events?
Probably about 40%. It's about a 60-40 split, and it's just because we have a high frequency of one-time or short-term events where the event organizer just realizes that they need the coverage because the venue said you need this general liability insurance, so they just buy it as a one-off.
I got you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt. Your move.
So again, those are our typical buyers, and then the events that are eligible under our program are pretty broad, and they include concerts, conventions, fairs, festivals, film shoots and productions, private parties, road races, sporting events of all sorts, weddings, and really many more within that category, far too long to list, whereas by contrast, our ineligible risks are much shorter, really confined to motor sporting events or air shows. Those are the two areas that we really don't get into. And then within the categories that I've just read off, if the insured is responsible for higher risk activities that would normally go to a third-party vendor or subcontractor, like fireworks or inflatables or mechanical amusement rides, we then exclude that, or that becomes ineligible as well for us.
Well, you guys got a lot of knowledge needed. I know you have done it. You're the best in the industry. But I think of the differences of all those all those shows and the concerts and everything else. You've got to know a little bit about everything. Do you have
Certainly do.
Let me ask this. This is off the cuff question. But do you have people who are assigned specifically to fairs or anything like that, or do the underwriters kind of get across the board?
To some extent, we do. We don't have a traditional hiring practice here. We have some people that don't necessarily have insurance backgrounds. They have sports and entertainment backgrounds, and then we teach them or backfill with the insurance. And so many of which have a music industry background, or some of which have a sporting industry background. So the answer is yes. We try to give them a broader appetite to get into the other areas, but there are some specialties amongst the group.
Well, the other I was talking, as you know, Chelsea Burnell presented this and has worked with us, and she told me yesterday she's going to Nashville next week for a bowling something. I don't know what it was, a bowling
turn. The Bowl Expo is next week. I'll actually be attending with her. We are the endorsed carrier on behalf of the BPAA, Bowling Proprietors Association of America, and we provide, outside of even the GL category, both property and casualty for sports and recreation facilities.
I'll be darned. Interesting. Okay, go ahead.
So some of the optional coverages that we provide within the special event liability category, which are really integral to our program, are liquor liability, hired and non-owned auto, inland marine, waivers of subrogation, as well as excess participant, volunteer, and spectator medical. And
excuse me for interrupting again, but I would imagine that there's a lot of volunteers involved all the way across the board on this thing that you are, I guess I would say responsible for, but I mean, that you're ensuring. Because a lot of these events have more volunteers than they do people who work there, it seems to me.
that's actually very true and almost always the case. And sometimes those volunteers really mount and are more than the actual paid employees. Oftentimes these are one-time events, and people from the community come out to help out, and we have a coverage to address that.
Got it. Thank you.
So one of the other things that we do, which is kind of unique to us in our organization, is while we certainly provide most of our coverage outward-facing to the event organizers, the event planners, we also have automation and a specific expertise in targeting and selling to the venues directly, which basically helps them. Each of these venues requires that the insured bring their own insurance in, which is a protection to the venue, but they don't really have an easy way to do that or to reconcile and keep track of all that. We have a product that addresses that, not only a policy, but also automation, which helps them keep it all organized and straight. We call it Tenant User Liability, or TULIP, was the acronym, and it's a simple solution for venues and facility owners. It provides annual coverage covering third-party liability for their lessees, and it holds the facility or the venues harmless should an accident occur. It also will, in some instances, decrease the cost of their annual coverage for these very same exposures.
Wow, that's fascinating.
So, you know, really to recap everything and bundle it all up, the basic purpose of this coverage is protect business owners or individuals from claims that could arise at their events. We have, as I hopefully demonstrated, a broad appetite, which includes both small and large event types, as small as weddings and birthday parties, but also as large as music festivals and major sporting events. This is really peace of mind coverage. You know, while it's a compulsory coverage in most cases where the venue requires it, what it does is it really provides a sleep insurance. You just never know what to expect and what could occur at these events, and our coverage addresses all of that.
It's amazing how broad it is, and to me, and because I know I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico, we got some hotels here, and boy, they demand that the providers, I mean the people who are putting it on, they demand it, and they don't take any excuses either. They go for it.
Yeah, they're smart to do so. They're absolutely smart to do so. So I guess I kind of end this by just saying that if you're ready to discuss more details about the coverages, simply click on the Contact Me button. You'll be immediately connected to a pre-addressed email to the sponsoring independent insurance agent. Their staff will then work with you to meet your needs on this important series of coverages.
Sean, I thank you very much for this effort, and I appreciate you being the leader of the group. I hope that we'll be working together. I know we will for a long time to come, and it's a pleasure for me and for us. And thank you again for the rest of you guys. Let's go get some event coverage.